This is a bronze head made by Dora Gordine.
Who is Dora?
It's a good question.
No one knows exactly.
She was an exceptional artist who kept reinventing her identity.
Self-mythologizing, more like.
How is she connected to Genesis?
Dora's house was just by Richmond X Park. She designed it even though she is not an architect. The neighbours called it a Stalinist jam factory. It is Dora's planet.
You visited Dora's house quite often, didn't you, Genesis? You always went alone.
No one was building flat roofs on domestic houses. It was radical.
Most of the house is her studio, the living quarters she shared with her partner Richard Hare. Having breakfast. Or maybe lunch. It's beautiful.
For what purpose did Genesis visit this house?
Well, I reckon to visit Dora. She's still very much a presence in the house. Anyone that's been there will tell you that.
And this bronze, did Genesis buy it?
I'm not too sure. One day it was just here.
It's actually when it all started. The symptoms, I mean.
Could she have stolen it from the house? Taken it without permission? There is a lot of heat and energy emanating from this head. It's consuming her. Can you not see that? Can you not feel the heat? Did Genesis tell you anything else about Dora?
You sometimes said how you would like to be like Dora. Flamboyant. A socialite.
She struggled with some facts, like the bronze memorial plaque Dora made for Mikhailovich, the Chetnik commander in former Yugoslavia.
The Chetnik committed ruthless massacres.
Why did Dora make the plaque then?
Remember, the British government supported the Chetniks at the time, until they started supporting the partisans instead, who became much better at killing the Nazis. Dora supported the British government. She admired the British aristocracy.
Genesis used to admire the fact that Dora used to cast her bronze herself. Hardly any women did that. Barbara Hepworth was carving. Many artists were carving, but casting was unusual.
She also loved that Dora was self-made. I mean, Genesis could never quite overcome her class barriers.
That's a real problem if you're an artist.
So is Genesis a fan of Dora?
Not exactly a fan.
She disappeared into Dora. She disappeared into other artists in the past too, but with Dora it was persistent.
You feel empty. You're not a proper woman. You're not a proper artist.
Pretending to be a male artist never works. Women artists are just less visible. Too much hips.
Not a real woman, nor a real man. No man's land. The superstructure is a reflection of the structure, so do you take part in the art patriarchy, or do you withdraw?
Withdraw.
Dora knew that too. She faced severe gender discriminations, especially as a modernist figurative sculptor. So she climbed the social ladder, befriending powerful people who became her patrons and supporters.
There's no such thing as a real woman. All women are invention. Invention in process.
If women are not real, at least they're limitless.
Is limitless desirable?
Genesis also started to design furniture and lamps using ropes like Dora.
Did Dora ever stop making work?
Yes. When Richard, who some say was a homosexual, suddenly died from a heart attack in 1966, Dora found it hard to make work again or socialize. She hasn't left the house much.
Elsie the Wolf bought her work.
Who is she?
Elsie was part of the Lady Decorators, the first woman to be professionally recognized as interior designers rather than home decorators. A glamorous socialite who called herself a rebel in an ugly world.
She entered the room and looked at the walls, which were covered with a Morris design and gray palm leaves and bright splotches of red and green against a dull tan background. Something terrible which cut like a knife rose up inside her, and she threw herself to the floor, kicking kicking with stiffened legs as she beat the carpet with her hands and cried out over and over.
It's so ugly! It's so ugly!
Bessie was Elsie's life partner, one of the first women to be a Broadway producer and theatre agent.
Extraordinary. Openly living as lesbians in the 19th century.
Social status can afford a fair bit of transgression.
Elsie made embroidered taffeta pillows, saying, never explain, never complain, possibly the first pop pillows.
There is also Ciri. She was also part of the Lady Decorators. Ciri Morg was a legendary British interior designer, credited for designing the all-white rooms. Born in Victorian times, when interiors were so darkly decorated, the all-white room was groundbreaking.
So did Ciri and Elsie hang out together?
Yes, they travelled to India together, saying that they would
They wanted to paint the black hole of Calcutta white.
Yes.
Imagine hanging out with Elsie and Siri.
Covering the world in white.
Sorry, back to Genesis. You mentioned that she had other fixations with women artists?
Yes. Well, Amy Winehouse was always playing in the background.
Sure, yeah.
But that seems more like a normal fandom in comparison.
Everybody.
Yes, like a standard appreciation.
Well, I have reason to believe that Genesis isn't simply a fan of Dora, or jealous of her, or would like to be her, or is projecting herself onto her. She's not imitating Dora or trying to disappear into Dora. Genesis is a reincarnation of Dora Goodine.
Reincarnation? What? Reincarnation.
And after Dora, also known as Genesis, died, Dora, aka Genesis, comes back as Amy Winehouse?
No, in fact, consciousness can exist outside the constraints of time and space. So it can be anywhere, in the human body and outside of it. So in other words, it's non-local in the same sense that quantum objects are non-local. And it's believed that multiple universes can exist simultaneously. So in one universe, there can be a dead body, and in another, it continues to exist whilst absorbing consciousness which has migrated into this universe.
So Genesis could be caught between Dora and Amy. Look at the beehives.
I believe that Dora's reincarnation didn't have proper closure.
What?
That Genesis has been trying to get back to Dora to be Dora again, to make those works, to live in that house, to love and be adored by Richard in order to find closure and complete the reincarnation. Now, if we want to help Genesis,
Which we do? Yes, of course.
we must take the head back. We must take the head back.